Oz has yet to be.
Look at the state of that. Look at the state of that, guys. The ground that's covering. Okay, look at this, right? Look. Watch this. Watch this. I've just discovered this. Watch. My whole head moves. Hold on. Does anyone else's do that? How's it going? Welcome to serenescxpe. My name is Cam, and in today's video, guys, we're going to be exploring episode 6 of our Phobia series, Pyrophobia. Hold on, I missed the zoom. Pyrophobia. Welcome back, everyone. How is everyone doing? I'm just going to bring your attention to the comments. Show off a little bit of comments here, guys. Look at all you beautiful people. So many new viewers onto the channel. How are you all doing? Man, I love your reactions. Here you go, coming in from Khan. How you analyse everything is great. Glad that you picked up on that, dude. Really am. Thank you so much. Got Jake coming in with the support there as well. Your boy. You're one of my favourite YouTubers. Thank you. Widge, your boy supporting. Congrats on the 100 subs. That's right, we've hit over 100 subs at the point of this video. If you guys are watching later down the line when we've got more than that, then let me know down below in the comments. That'll be awesome. Amir coming back in with that support as well, saying amazing, bro. Everyone appreciating the reactions there to the creepy video, the ballerina, guys. If you haven't checked it out, it's a small horror film. I'll leave an annotation above for you guys to go look at. It was really creepy, man, but it was so good. It was really, really good. Definitely go check it out, and go check out the channel who actually made that video, man. It was awesome. Okay, guys, so moving on to the definition of pyrophobia. If you're not too familiar with the term, of course, here Google says it is the fear of fire, which can be considered irrational if beyond what is considered normal. There you go. It talks about being ancient and primordial. Yeah, so that's one of the things I wanted to talk about just before we do get into this video. Okay, so I'm a little bit hesitant to talk about this topic, guys, because I know it might be a bit more sensitive for other people, because this is more of the naturally occurring things in today's society, like disasters and accidents wise. We have spoken about, obviously, you know, pretty like dark things with these phobias, but the whole point of the phobia series is to shed light on these phobias, explore them, expand our knowledge upon them a little bit better, and maybe help you guys and myself overcome them a little bit throughout the videos, sort of breaking it down and just, you know, elaborating on it and talking about it. I feel like that's a really good thing to do, and that's always been my goal with the phobia series, guys. So I will say, if anything that has happened to you regarding pyrophobia and fire, any natural disasters, I'm so sorry to hear about that, but just know that this place is a safe place to talk about it. And if you need to share anything with us and help us understand a little bit better about this topic, please do talk about it in the comments, because it's really important to get your guys' perspective along with these phobia series, with these episodes, guys. That's one of the main reasons why I'm doing it, and yeah, hopefully that makes sense. In today's video, we're going to be talking about the top 10 most devastating fires in history from watchmojo.com, guys. I'll leave everything linked down below in the description for you guys to check out the full main video and subscribe to the Watch Mojo channel. That'd be awesome. Drop a little like on the video like I just did right there, guys. This video came out in 2017, guys. It's had over 200,000 views, which is awesome. It's 8 minutes and 43 seconds long. I don't want to kill any more time, guys. I think we should get straight into this video.
For this list, we're taking a look at fires that started in either urban or rural areas, like forests, cities, or the countryside. We're taking into account the number of casualties and injuries, the cost of the fires in terms of how much it cost to fight them, and the value of the property destroyed, as well as the total.
Based on what the most devastating is, of course, into a top 10 perspective, right? Okay, I'm with you.
10. The 2007 California wildfires.
Okay.
The 2007 California wildfires.
I think I remember this.
The worst in state history.
Maybe like
over
clips.
9,000 separate
might have been a bit
fires
too young at that
burned,
point,
and they
though.
were so big they could be seen from space.
Really?
Approximately 1
Jeez.
million acres of land from Santa Barbara County down to the U.S.-Mexico border was destroyed. 14 people died, 9 directly due to the flames. Countless others were injured and forced to evacuate their homes.
I mean, considering they must have done a really good job with that, right? Because you've got this picture here when they say it's this is the satellite view from space, and you can see the fires. I mean, this might not look like a big area, like on a map, right? But that is a humongous area, dude. Like, honestly, if you zoomed in that much and just go onto like Google Earth and just sort of zoom in into a little speck like that in any part of the globe, and you'll realize how big of an area of effect that actually is. That's terrifying, man. And to say that only 14 people died, of course, it's a tragedy, and you know, my condolences go out to those people. But only 14 people in that range there, that's quite impressive. So there was either evacuated in
from
due
space.
time or
Approximately
the fire
1
department
million
was
acres
absolutely
of
on it,
land
man.
from
That's
Santa
awesome.
Barbara County down to the U.S.-Mexico border was destroyed. 14 people died, 9 directly due to the flames. Countless others were injured and forced to evacuate their homes. In
Just look at it, man. It looks terrifying. Could you imagine? I know, sorry, the picture quality isn't the best, but could you imagine having to abandon your home because you turn around and you see that thing like about, I don't know, probably maybe half a mile away from your house? Could you imagine that? Just put that into perspective for a little bit. That's insane, man. And that the fact that people have to live like this and have these natural disasters happening, probably more than about 5 times, being generous, in their lifetime. I think that's incredible to be able to sort of walk away from that and be able to be like, yeah, yeah, I was involved in that.
October,
Yeah,
Governor Arnold Schwarzenegger declared a state of emergency in 7 counties, while President George W. Bush called for federal aid to assist state and local efforts. When it was
definitely.
over,
That is
more than a
terrifying,
million
man. All these lights here are houses, and just look at the sheer amount of smoke there. Yeah.
people were displaced, and damages reached well into the billions of dollars.
Mate, you can't even see the sky, bro. It's literally just covered in smoke. It's orange, man. It's just ridiculous to think about. Like, you can walk outside right now, and whether it's daytime, nighttime, you'll look up and you'll be able to actually see things. Whereas in this environment, there's absolutely just nothing other than orange and bright. Probably hurt your eyes to look at, to be honest. All these bright lights,
Number
all
9.
these
The
fires.
Great Chicago Fire. On the night of October 8, 1871, a small fire ignited in a barn on DeKoven Street. 2 days and over
I'm curious as this top 10 list goes on, guys, whether it's just purely American based fires or are we focusing on other fires around the globe? I understand that they said they're based on how many casualties, etc., was involved in these pieces of history, but yeah, I'm actually curious because I would have thought, obviously, America's not the hottest country, and there's parts of America that probably are hot, don't get me wrong, but there's obviously hotter countries, right? But it's, yeah, you don't really get many fires in Egypt or hear about them. I don't know. I don't know, man. Maybe?
$220 million in damage later. Roughly 3.3 square miles of the Windy City was destroyed, and an estimated 300 people were dead. Despite a swift response by the Chicago Fire Department,
The fact that they were even able to sort of record this is incredible. Like, someone got the camera out and obviously was recording this and then must have thought at that time, like, this is going to be a part of history that cannot be forgotten, right?
the firefighters ended up in an incorrect location
incredible.
because of the watchman's mistake. And so, the inferno grew unchecked. Drought
no.
conditions and the use of wood as the prominent building material aided the
Jeez, imagine like going out your house and seeing that thing just explode.
spread of the flames. While nobody knows for sure how exactly the fire started, the Chicago Fire Academy, which now sits on DeKoven Street, makes certain it doesn't happen again. Number 8, the two
That's interesting. It could have been natural, like we've discussed, or it could have been an accident. You never know. I guess you'll never know at that point. No, it's too late in history to sort of go back and try and find out roots of what was the cause of that fire. Horrible though.
2016
Right,
Fort
2016.
McMurray wildfire. Starting on May 1st, 2016, fires in the southwest of Fort McMurray, Alberta, an important community for Canada's petroleum industry, triggered the largest wildfire evacuation.
So we've got Canada obviously involved there, of course. Yeah, just the sheer amount of dense trees that are involved in Canada, like anyway, like woodland. Yeah, I would imagine it would be quite catastrophic to sort of witness that sort of thing. Definitely involved in that environment. I wonder if my family remembers this. I've got family who live in Canada, so it might be worth asking them about it and getting their perspective.
In the province's history. They spread across northern Alberta and into Saskatchewan for 2 months before firefighters got things under control.
That's incredible, man. I'd love to sort of like be in one of those helicopters dropping that massive like pouch of like water and just sort of spreading it across, man. And like the fact that you'd even be making any subtle change to the fire, even if it's a drastic or subtle change, at least you're doing something right. That's awesome. Got to give it to these guys.
Acres were consumed,
and the fact, like, if you just look at those, hold on, if we just go back a second to that clip, hold on. Yeah, just look at that. Imagine how hard it would be to breathe in that environment. Like, your breath would be taken away instantly, right? There's smoke absolutely anywhere. And if you ever had, like, smoke, like, in your face for a longer period of time, you just choke up, don't you? Imagine trying to survive and run, you know, to sort of get out of that environment with all that smoke surrounded, you know, by you. And obviously the heat immersing from the flames coming out. Oh, man, it would be horrible.
1.5 million acres were consumed.
I'd say the best chance of survival there would be trying to get yourself engulfed into the water there, that little water, that little lake patch, because obviously, you know, the fire's going to be put out. But there is also circumstances where fire can travel on top of water, right?
Reaching over $3.5 billion. While nobody died directly due to the flames, 2 evacuating Fort McMurray residents were killed.
That's what I mean. That's what I spoke about. Yeah. So two civilians were killed, getting out of that environment, and probably down to what I've just spoke about, right, with the smoke and the heat and just being unbearable. Probably not being able to move, you know, quick enough. Maybe they were like fairly older adults that couldn't move as quick as like younger adults, maybe, or children. You know, worst case scenario, man. The fact that there's just sort of cars there and just sort of watching this happen. It's just insane, man.
A tractor trailer. The fire's official cause has yet to be...
Look at the state of that. Look at the state of that, guys. The ground that's covering. Look, how high up would you say that helicopter is to get that shot? Look how high up they are from the ground, and look how much area of effect that is caused. Mate.
But abnormally hot, dry air and record-setting temperatures contributed to its rapid...
So it looks almost like blue flames, right?
Growth.
Imagine they're hot. They're the hottest. Nah, it's just like the clip, like the light.
It took months to be fully extinguished.
Jesus.
Number 7, the Great Hinckley Fire. The pine forests and surrounding areas of Hinckley, Minnesota were in the midst of a 2-month-long drought in the summer of 1894. Several small fires ignited in Pine County.
2-month-long drought, meaning there's been obviously no rain, right?
And since the ground was covered with branches and harvested trees, the flames spread rapidly.
Hold on, I missed that. What time of year was that?
Several small fires ignited in Pine County, and since the ground was covered with branches and harvested trees, the flames spread rapidly. The town of Hinckley and several...
I mean, that image alone hurts my eyes. I know it's photoshopped,
settlements,
but
which
Jesus.
made up over 200,000 acres, were completely destroyed.
200,000 acres?
Number of fatalities is difficult to determine. There were over 400 victims. Thomas Boston Corbett, the Union soldier who killed President Abraham Lincoln's assassin John Wilkes Booth, is thought to have died in the blaze, which remains one of the deadliest fires in Minnesota history.
And he must have been helping, right? Being a police officer and all, sacrificing himself. Legend, man.
Number 6, the Black Saturday bushfires. Australia has fallen victim to many bushfires.
Oh, there you go, Australia.
Years, but the Black Saturday bushfires are by far the worst, as they were the deadliest in the country's history. Over 400 individual fires burned in the state of Victoria from February to March 2009, consuming over 1 million acres.
Jesus Christ, man. Like, I can understand why people would have such a phobia, right? And, you know, look at these images and think, look how out of control these areas of effect are, and just how like horrifying it is to look at, and you know how much of a disaster it's like considered to be. Because when you think about it, like you put your stove on or whatever and see like these controlled flames coming out, you can turn it off and on when you like, you know. That's how far we've come as sort of like human beings with like evolution and technology, right? But to see this, and going back to sort of like the prematorial days, where you've got like images like this in your face that you can't be controlled and it's not easily sort of like maintained, I guess. That must be terrifying, man. And I would have thought pyrophobia would be more common now than it would be back in sort of like the primal days, primitive days, right?
An out-of-the-ordinary heat wave, record-setting temperatures, and high winds contributed to the start and spread of these bushfires.
High
Downed
winds, yeah, I
power
imagine.
lines,
I imagine so.
arson, and lightning are just
You ever blew into embers or a fire, and obviously it goes up, starts to the embers start to light up, and they're getting more oxygen to the fire, right, to make it bigger. You know, you know what I mean. You know what I mean. Yeah, I imagine the same thing's happening there, but on a massive scale, right?
some of the
With the
many
wind.
catalysts of the raging inferno. In all, 173 people perished in the blaze,
You wouldn't even recognize your house at that point, though, would you?
making it the most fatalities Australia has ever had from a bushfire.
How many?
Blaze of
How
the
many?
raging inferno. In all, 173 people perished in the blaze, making it the most
Jeez.
fatalities Australia has ever had from a bushfire. Number 5, the Great Fire of 1910. Also known as the Big Burn, the Great Fire of 1910
It's kind of like baffling to hear that they're called like the Great Fire. Do you know what I mean? Maybe it's. I mean, it's not exactly like a thing that you would associate with great. I know that the word great would be associated with like massive, expanding like force that can't be stopped, like that in that sense of being like great. But I don't know. I don't know, man. Like the devastating fire of what was it? The devastating fire of 1910, right? I feel like that would make more sense as a title, but I don't know. It's a part of history. Who am I to say that?
1910. Also known as the Big Burn, the Great Fire of 1910 burned across the U.S. states of Washington, Idaho, and Montana during the summer of 1910.
I'm curious, is there any Americans that are watching that can sort of clarify how common these fires actually are and the ones that aren't always recorded on like national television, right? And brought to the attention of like the world. I'm curious, man.
The summer was tremendously dry, causing many small fires to break out until hurricane-force winds formed them into a raging inferno.
That's one thing that we've got to appreciate when you think about it, because it's all down to areas that have been dry, left just to sort of set there for a little bit with the sun just beaming in. And summertime everyone associates with like good vibes and oh yeah, looking forward to summer with the sun, that sort of thing. But then you got to consider these sort of things and like maybe have those odd rainy days in between, because it is a force of nature after all, and we have rain to sort of counteract the sun and being able to stop that, right? And obviously you know how it works. You know how rain works.
The firestorm burned for 2 days and claimed 87 lives, many of which were firefighters.
2 days in the
With smoke
fire, man.
reportedly seen as far away as New York and Denver. It's considered the biggest, though not the most fatal forest fire in American history. Number 4.
It's regardless though, isn't it?
The Great Fire
There you go
of
again,
London.
Great Fire of London.
Igniting in a bakery on Pudding Lane, this fire decimated 4/5 of medieval London. The technique used to battle fires
That's
during
crazy,
this period
man.
was to create fire breaks by means of demolition. This would form gaps in combustible material to deprive the fire of fuel and slow its advancement.
Geez, so they were actually like, from my understanding of that, they were actually like cutting down like parts of like the woods and areas of effect before the fire could reach it, so it would stop in one place. That's kind of smart. I'll give them that. Like that's really smart. But then again, you're not really helping the disaster, right? The accident, because you're sort of contributing towards the wildlife, the woodland areas, all these natural places get destroyed as well. I don't know. It's a risk that you got to take though to avoid any more disaster, right?
However, Lord Mayor of London Sir Thomas Bloodworth's lack of decision-making meant that winds quickly fanned the flames into a firestorm that continued north into the city's core. More than 13,000 houses were engulfed.
It's kind of crazy, man. I'm sorry about the keep pausing, by the way. It's kind of crazy because I'm just thinking like maybe there'll be a time where we could have some sort of like aircraft that would sort of hover above these natural disasters right as they're starting, and maybe instead of having a fan blow air onto these fires, maybe have it doing the reverse effect of sort of sucking up all of these all of the air in the surrounding area on like a huge scale. I understand this sounds crazy, right? But you know, stay with me on this. On a huge scale, like sucking it up like into a vortex, sucking out all of the oxygen involved in the air, so the fire goes out on its own. If we had something on that scale and being able to do something like that in the future, maybe a couple of 100 years to come or something like that to prevent these things from happening, that would be awesome, man. Obviously, I won't live to see that. It's interesting to talk about it and see how far that we've came with technology and obviously evolution already, and just how further along we can go along with it and just see where it takes us. I think that's quite interesting. Yeah.
The Great Fire of
Or
Rome. This inferno is believed to have started in shops where combustible goods were kept, with winds contributing to its advancement. Different
Really?
accounts say Emperor Nero started it for any number of reasons, from madness to his hatred of the city's aesthetics. While there's no direct evidence that Nero's
I remember a quote. I can't remember where I saw it from, but I remember the quote, and the quote was, "History was sort of written by the people who won, right? The people who were victorious." So I don't know. It's sort of you can sort of point a finger, right? Because when you hear back to all these dated stories and stuff, and you say that this person may have caused a fire, or there was this great battle, or was this great natural disaster, and that you never know, like because they could play victim, but then they could have been also the start of that in history. History was written by the people who came out on top, right? Who was able to live the tale. So it could always be manipulated. But that's a topic of discussion for maybe a different video.
to blame, and this wasn't even the first time a Roman emperor was involved with an infamous fire, as, according to ancient reports, Caesar's troops unintentionally burned down the Library of Alexandria back in 48
The key word being unintentionally there.
BC. Number 2, the Cloquet Fire. The second fire on this list to devastate Minnesota. This one was ignited and spread thanks to sparks from a railroad and dry, hot conditions. It remains the state's worst natural disaster in terms of how many people died within a 24-hour period.
Really?
Over 450
Just some
people were
sparks
killed
from
in
a
the fire.
train.
38 communities were lost, and 250,000 acres were charred.
What?
The total cost of property lost was close to $73 million, which is equal to roughly $1.15 billion today. Often overshadowed by the Great Chicago Fire, which took place on the same day. The Peshtigo Fire is recorded history's
Wait, what?
most
Hold on, I
fatal
missed that.
wildfire
I missed
ever.
that. What was that?
An estimated 1,500 Peshtigo Fire. Often overshadowed by the Great Chicago Fire, which took place on the same day.
And
The
we've just seen
Peshtigo
that, haven't we?
Fire
On the
is
same
recorded
day?
history's most fatal wildfire ever. An estimated
People
1,500
back then must have thought the world was ending at that point. That's crazy.
2,500 people lost their lives in and around. An estimated 1,500 to 2,500 people lost their lives in and around Peshtigo, Wisconsin, when many small fires were fanned by high winds into a huge inferno.
Again with the
During
wind,
this
isn't
period,
it?
small fires were deliberately set to clear forest land for farming. But when a cold front brought strong winds, a firestorm soon erupted. By the time it burned out, over 1.2 million.
Hold on, did they say that they were lighting little fires to sort of prevent farming, and then the wind took the fires there? Or did the other natural disaster fire that was causing all of this destruction occur before that?
Set to clear forest land for farming. But when a cold front brought strong winds, a firestorm soon erupted.
No,
By the
okay,
time
so it was
burned out,
caused by
over
the little
1.2
fires,
million
intentional
acres of
fires from
land were
the
lost.
farming, right?
Local records did
Oh,
not
that's a
survive the
shame, man.
blaze, making an exact casualty count difficult. But the victims are remembered with the Peshtigo Fire Museum and a memorial.
Do you agree with our picks?
Damn.
Check out these other great clips from
Okay,
Watch Mojo.
okay. So that was obviously the video there, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Let's go ahead and go to big screen there. So that was top 10 most devastating fires in history, guys. Very interesting stuff, to be honest. It's kind of crazy how these things are recorded and how many like casualties, how they can even come up with those sheer amount of numbers. I'm guessing it's based on like the population of the area that obviously got burnt was affected by these fires, that they can base it upon. But it's such a shame, man, to hear these stories and hear that majority of them come from sort of like natural disasters, with the wind being a massive contributor there. How far we can come with this natural disaster and this problem is very interesting to think about. Like I mentioned earlier in the video, guys, with sort of like technology being able to sort of manipulate the weather in a way where we can avoid these situations happening. I feel like that is a possibility in the future and something that can definitely be invented. But I want to know your thoughts, guys, and if you've experienced or heard or know anybody of these incidences. Obviously not the late history fires there, and I'm really curious to hear your thoughts on it, sort of maybe your experiences and just how you deal with it, and just the thought of like this phobia, like if it does still bother you to this day, which I imagine it would. It's a very interesting topic, guys, and it's, like I said, a little bit more of a darker topic, but that is the whole point of this phobia series, guys. So hopefully you enjoyed the video. It's been a bit of a longer one. I apologize on that behalf, but hopefully you enjoyed it. And yeah, I just want to say thank you so much for watching, guys. Please go check out watchmojo.com, and if you did enjoy the video, please do drop a like on the video and subscribe to the channel for some more reaction content, guys. I'm gonna go sign off now. Hopefully you have a good rest of your day. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I'll see you very soon. Take care. Bye bye.